now that you got your license, kind of walk me through, those first couple years. Was it struggles? Was it instant success? How did you go about building your business?
I mean, really, John, I told every single person that I knew that I was a real estate agent and that I could help them find a house. I started out with, my number one client was an investor that was looking to get into, like the Miller Kelton area. I
Mm-hmm.
remember, I remember there was some doubters at the brokerage that I was with. They would say, Heidi, how are you selling $17,000 houses? How are you surviving? And I'm like, well, I'm selling 6 to 10 of them a year. And, no one's calling to repo my Mercedes. I'm doing it. I'm out here doing it.
Yeah.
So I just told everybody, wait, I was afraid to quit my job right away. I stayed with Bob Evans. I remember doing request to remedies in the break room, smoking a cigarette, working and everything, I was really fearful to quit my job at the time, but like I said, my biggest supporter is my husband, Brian. And he was like, honey, you're going crazy. It's time for you to quit. And I did, and I just kept hustling.
And Brian was already in the business, right? Was he
Right.
already selling or?
Yeah, he was selling. He worked for a small brokerage, mostly doing it part time. He comes from, his core, he comes from an Irish Catholic family of 8 sisters.
Oh,
His mom
wow.
has 8 sisters. And that was, if we did a big deal, that's who we were doing deals with, was his
Yeah.
family. He'd get pretty mad when they'd start calling me, even though he was licensed. But it's just personality, I guess.
Is that's what it's just personality, right? You just chalk it up to
Yeah, right.
that. So was working with investors, obviously you had the one, kind of walk me through that period of time where the market kind of crashed and you just got licensed, right? I'm sure before then the market was doing all right, and then you get licensed, market crashes. Walk me through kind of just your mindset as a brand new agent. You know, how did you navigate those waters? Because my biggest thing is, agents got to be willing to be able to pivot, lose ego a little bit, swallow pride sometimes, do things a little bit differently than what they're used to. And I got in on the tail end of all of that. It wasn't as, I didn't have
Yeah.
to go through it. I got in on the tail end of it, but kind of give me some of your insights at that time, going through that, especially starting a new business, a new career.
Just hustle, man. There's so much abundance out there, and obviously, John, I don't live beyond my means. At the time that I started, I had a little Honda Fit that I would cruise around all over town in. And I never discriminated against like a price point. If you wanted a $17,000 house, I'm going to show it to you just like I would a, 170,000 at the time. That was a big sale at the time, was 170,000. You know, um, there's just so much abundance out there that I went after all of it. I don't care what price point you're at. Let's do it.
How many deals did you do, your first couple years into the business?
I came out hustling. I was probably doing, at the time. I think about it now, it's funny. I was so excited to do like 10 deals a year. You know,
Yeah.
10
Yeah.
deals a year was big, and those
But think
those
about
were
that.
my
But
deals.
yeah, but think about that, right? Like, you're this is what I tell agents all the time. I mean, our business allows us to live, a pretty flexible, free flowing life, like 10 deals a year.
Amen.
That was probably what allowed you to stop the waitressing and, not worry about actually having to clock in and clock out and be on someone else's time and dime.
Right,
It provided that lifestyle. And,
Brian.
you know, Go ahead.
Brian would get mad at me because at the JC pool in Westerville, I would do my deals back in the bushes while my core group of elderly ladies would make sure my kids were okay. You know, I've turned all of those women have become, of course, clients, but Brian's like, Heidi, you gotta work a little. I'm like, I'm going to. I'm at the pool.
That's one of the first things I learned, about the business when I got into it with Ryan was, Ryan is a believer that life comes first and your work should be designed around your life. And when I got into the business, I was a recent college grad, and he'd be like, "Hey, we're going to go to the pool on a Tuesday. We're going to go up to Zumbizi Bay," and he'd be like, "Hey, I forget I think the passes were like, I don't know, $60 or something for the season." And he'd be like, "Man, if we
Right.
just go there 3 times or more this summer, it pays for itself." I'm like, I'm in, like,
Right.
wait, you mean I can work and sell real estate from a pool on a Tuesday?
Great.
Count me in. But
Right.
I think you said something there that is true in our business, and that's abundance. You know, like right now, right? Obviously, everything that's going on in the economy and question marks, unknowns, the market's slowing a little bit. It's not going down; it's slowing a little bit. Um, there's still deals that are going to happen. People still need
Oh
to
yeah.
buy. People still need to sell. And that's one of the things I just took away from what you just said back in that time when the world was on fire.
Hmm.
Was hustle. You know, what are you doing every single day? There's opportunities every single day.
Every day. I never turn down an invitation. You know, Eh, I mean, there's always somebody that's going to be buying or selling real estate, and I mean, if I'm invited to a dinner party, I go to a dinner party. I talk about real estate. I also love real estate. Like I love houses. So, when I wasn't working with my father on the weekend, I was like, I got to get home to watch the King Thompson Home Show, man. Because I really love houses. I love everything about houses. And then you get to connect people with them. It's a win-win, man. I
Do
love
you,
this job.
do you think you picked up the love of real estate? Sorry, the love of houses from the work that you did with your dad?
I think so. Yeah, I really did.
Yeah, I think, for me, my parents always bought older homes and we would fix them up and live in them and all of those things. So when I got into it, it was really more from the investing side of what I wanted to do, flipping
Mhm.
and all of that stuff. And I just got in because I wanted to learn real estate, and the real estate part has stuck with me.